In the early hours of the day, when the world is still silent and the mind wakes up with scattered thoughts, a unique opportunity is open to connect with the deepest of our being. It is at that sacred moment that prayer comes alive as a direct praise to God, where we can release the weight of uncertainties and fully trust His guide. Psalm 5 invites us to this delivery with words that resonate as a whisper of the soul. Listen, O Lord, my words, considers my groan. He attends to the voice of my clamor, my King and my God, because I will cry out. Psalm 5, 1-2. These words are an invitation to open the heart without reservations, to present our concerns, desires, and fears before the one who not only listens, but understands the depth of each human emotion. At this time, we do not speak only with words, but with the language of faith that sustains us when the path seems uncertain. Delivering the day to God is, above all, an act of humility. We recognize that, no matter how much we plan, we are not absolute owners of our time or the events that will come. There are invisible forces that mold our destiny, and in them we trust when we open our hands and let it go control. This delivery is not resignation, but an act of love for divine wisdom that knows what we need long before we understand it. In Psalm 5, confidence in God is expressed with absolute certainty. You are not a God who is pleased in evil. He will not live with you any evil. The fools will not be in front of your eyes. You abhor all those who do iniquity. Psalm 5. For the 5, these words remind us that God protects, cares for, and guides those who approach Him with sincerity and clean heart. Delivering our day means choosing to walk under this protection, letting divine light illuminate our decisions and actions. It is to let the divine justice and truth be the compass that directs each step, instead of the fears or doubts that often paralyze the soul. In the morning of the morning, we can stop and ask ourselves, what do I really need today? Where do I need the guide and strength that only God can give? Maybe there is anxiety, concerns about work, family, health, or challenges that await us. This is the time to present everything before God with full confidence, because Psalm continues to say, You, O Lord, bless the righteous as with a shield around your favor. Psalm 5:12 visualize that protection, that invisible shield that accompanies us when we trust. The delivery of our day is not only a spiritual act, but a tangible experience of security and hope. No matter what storms they approach, when we deliver our day, we are sustained by a powerful and loving hand. In addition, this delivery is not limited to concerns, but also includes our deepest dreams, plans, and desires. The invitation is that we do not hold them strongly, but that we put them in the hands of God to mold them according to their perfect will. Because, as Psalm teaches, God listens and answers, teach me to do your will. Because you are my God, your good spirit guides me by flat land. Psalm 5:10. We are not alone on this path. The promise of divine guide is a reality that we can experience every day if we allow ourselves to trust and deliver. It's like walking with a light that never goes out, although darkness seems to wrap us. This intimate conversation with God, that daily delivery, is also an invitation to release stress, fear, and anxiety that weighs so much in the soul. Life can be complex and overwhelming, but Psalm 5 reminds us that there is a safe refuge where we can rest, breathe, and renew our inner strength. God's love presence. Finally, the delivery of the day to God is an act of authentic freedom, because when we release control and trust, we free ourselves from the burden of uncertainty and open ourselves to the peace that only He can give. That peace that exceeds all understanding. That peace that is installed in the heart and allows us to walk with a firm step, even in the middle of the storms. Today, while listening to these words, I invite you to stop you for a moment, close your eyes, and do this prayer from the deepest of your being. Lord, in this dawn I give my day to your hands. Guide my thoughts, my actions, and my decisions. May your will be the light that illuminates my path. Strengthen my faith to trust without fear, and protect me with your love. Amen. Stay here, in this space of peace and delivery, open to receive the guide that God has prepared for you today. After delivering our day to God in the quiet of the morning, a path begins where every moment is impregnated with the divine presence. It is not a delivery that ends with prayer, but a daily commitment to live with an open heart and attentive to the voice of God that whispers in the deep of our being. Psalm 5 continues to be a lighthouse that illuminates this walk. Direct my steps according to your word. Do not let the iniquity dominate about me. Psalm 5:8. These words are a request that is born from vulnerability, from the recognition that without God, we are like drifting ships, aimless or anchor. Walking with the divine guide means asking God to guide every step, every decision, every thought. It is asking Him to keep us firm in the truth, moving away from roads that move us away from peace and justice. But what really implies walking with this guide? In practice, it means that our actions and decisions are not born only from logic or impulse, but of attentive listening to the inspiration that God offers us through the Spirit. It implies learning to discern between the voices of fear, anxiety, pride, and the soft and constant voice of God, which always seeks our good. Psalm reminds us that God is attentive to those who seek their protection and direction. You, Lord, hear the prayer of the humble. You strengthen your heart and give them peace. Psalm 5:3. This peace is not a simple passage of feeling, but an inner force that sustains even in difficulties. It is a spiritual refuge where we can find calm, clarity, and security to face what the day presents us. When we give our day to God in the morning, we open a door for this peace to accompany us. It does not mean that the problems will disappear, but we will have the strength to face them with serenity and hope. The divine God protects us from precipitated decisions, from dark roads that could move away from fullness. Faith manifests here to trust that, although we do not see the full way, God is preparing every step, pointing to what we must do at the right time. Amid doubts and challenges, morning prayer becomes an anchor that connects us with this deep confidence. In addition, this daily delivery transforms our perception of the day. Instead of seeing it as a succession of obstacles, we see it as an opportunity to grow, to learn, to be better people, and to experience God's love in each circumstance. Each challenge is an invitation to get closer to Him and let His light dissipate the shadows of fear. Psalm also speaks of God's justice and His rejection of evil, which invites us to live with integrity and get away from what the soul damages. Because you, O Lord, bless the righteous as with a shield around your favor. Psalm 5:12, feeling protected under this divine shield, gives us courage to face the day without fear, trusting that, although there are difficulties, we are not alone. Each action carried out with faith and honesty is an expression of this delivery, a step that God blesses and cares. Therefore, I invite you to keep this dialogue with God during your day. Every time you feel uncertainty, pause and return to your inner prayer. Remember the words of Psalm, ask for direction and strength again. Teach me to do your will, because you are my God. Your good spirit guides me by flat land. Psalm 5:10, the will of God is a safe guide that leads us on the paths of peace, love, and growth. Sometimes it may be necessary to release your own plans, accept unexpected changes, or face challenges with patience. But there is always a promise. God walks with us, His Spirit sustains us, and His light never goes out. Walking with this guide also implies recognizing that the delivery of the day is a constant process. It is not just a moment at dawn, but an attitude that we cultivate at every moment, learning to trust more, to release control and embrace the divine will with humility and hope. This daily commitment strengthens faith and transforms our relationship with God into a true alliance, where prayer is the language of love and trust, and the divine guide is the way to a full life. When we give our day to God in morning prayer, we not only ask for guidance and direction, but we also welcome ourselves under His love protection. In a world full of uncertainties, conflicts, and constant challenges, Psalm 5 offers us a clear and comforting image of this spiritual refuge we can go, as long as we feel threatened or vulnerable. Because you, O Lord, are not a God who is pleased in evil. He will not live with you in the evil. Psalm 5:04, this statement not only tells us about divine justice, but also invites us to trust that God protects those who seek to live in truth and purity from the heart. In the delivery of the day, we leave behind the loads of sin and the decisions that move us away from peace, and we embrace the promise of sincere and constant protection. Divine protection does not mean absence of problems or difficulties, but the certainty that, in their midst, we are not alone. God acts as a shield, an invisible strength that defends our soul of negative influences and strengthens us to continue walking with faith. Psalm expresses it with a powerful metaphor, as with a shield around your favor to those who trust you. Psalm 5:12. Imagining that protective shield is to feel a peace that exceeds any fear, is to experience the security that, although the world changes and the storms re-reaching, there is a divine presence that sustains and keeps us. This protection is the tangible manifestation of God's love, a love that does not abandon, that does not tire, that remains firm at all times. When delivering our day, we recognize this deep truth and allow that shield to cover us from dawn to sunset. Every decision we make, every word we pronounce, and every action we perform is under the loving and careful look of God. This transforms not only our perception of the day, but also our attitude towards life. Living with this security changes the way we face the challenges and adversities. We no longer fear failure or injustice, because we know that we are being guided and protected by a superior power. Confidence in this protection frees us to act with courage, with integrity, and with love. In addition, Psalm 5 tells us about the purity and sincerity with which we must approach God to receive this protection. I hate those who do iniquity. Nothing will stay with those who speak lie. Psalm 5:6 is called to truth and justice, is a reminder that divine protection is closely linked to our commitment to an honest and straight life. It is not about perfection, but a constant search to align with the will of God, to release what moves us away from His light and walk in humility. In this process, morning prayer becomes a renovating act that strengthens our determination to live with spiritual coherence. It is a time to reaffirm our desire to be guided by the truth and protected by divine love, knowing that there is no greater strength than that born from faith and sincere surrender. While we advance in the day, awareness of this protection becomes a shelter to which we can return every time we feel fear, insecurity, or tiredness. It is a constant reminder that we are not alone, that there is a loving power that ensures us, defends us, and drives us to move on. In this sense, daily delivery to God is not only an act of faith, but also a source of deep and lasting peace, a peace that transforms the heart and renews the spirit, because knowing that we are under your care allows us to rest, trust, and love freely. To close this moment, I invite you to make this word of Psalm 5, because you, O Lord, bless the righteous, as with a shielded around your favor. Psalm 5:12, that this blessing be your strength today, that the shield of God wraps you, and that you feel, in the depths of your being, the certainty that you are protected and loved. Upon reaching the end of this time together, it is essential to remember that the daily delivery of our day to God, as Psalm 5 invites us, is not an isolated act or a simple spiritual routine. It is the beginning of a deep transformation, a real change that begins within us and that is reflected in each aspect of our life. When, in the quiet of the morning, we open our hearts and present our words, our concerns, and our dreams before God, we are sowing a seed of faith that will grow and bear fruit throughout our day and our existence. That seed is the sincere commitment to live in light and divine guidance, letting their wisdom and love direct our steps, even when the road is uncertain or difficult. Psalm 5 clearly shows us the power that this act of trust has. God listens to our prayers, protects the righteous, guides us on safe roads, and covers us with their favor as with an invisible shield. That protection is not only a comfort, but a call to live with integrity, with hope, and with a love that is born of true delivery. Delivering our day to God also means recognizing our human fragility and our constant need for your presence. It means accepting that, no matter how much we plan and strive, only He knows the perfect outcome and the best way to guide us. Therefore, morning prayer is not a magical formula, but an act of faith that opens the door to spiritual transformation and daily renewal. Through this delivery, we learn to walk with the confidence that we are not alone. God is present in each decision, in each challenge, in every moment of joy or difficulty. His word is a lighthouse that illuminates our path and invites us to move forward with courage and hope. But this transformation is not limited to the time of prayer or the passing sensation of peace. It is a continuous process that invites us to live every day with full attention to the divine will, with the willingness to release control and embrace the mystery of faith. It invites us to be instruments of His love in the world, reflecting in our actions the light we have received in the silence of the morning. Therefore, I encourage you to do a sacred habit of daily delivery to God, that every dawn is a new opportunity to renew your faith, to strengthen your spirit, and to open yourself to the guide that only He can offer. That Psalm 5 is not only words heard, but a living experience that transforms your heart, your life. On this path, you are not alone. We are a community that seeks to grow, which relies on faith and shares the deep desire to live with purpose and fullness. Therefore, I invite you to be part of this space, subscribing to the channel to receive more contents that nourish your soul and accompany you in your spiritual walk. If this video has touched your heart, I ask you to like so that more people can find this message of hope and guide. Also, I would love to read in the comments how you deliver your day to God, or what part of Psalm 5 resonated more with you. Sharing your experiences enriches the entire community and strengthens our collective faith. Remember that prayer is a living conversation, and every word you pronounce with sincerity has the power to transform not only your day, but also your whole life. Do not hesitate to return to this video whenever you need to renew your delivery and your trust. Thank you for being here, for opening your heart, and for allowing these words to be a food for your soul, that the peace of God, who exceeds all understanding, accompanies you today and always.